welcome you into this week's edition of Freshly Grated with Marcello Romano and my guest, James Marilat. James Marilat's appearance on Freshly Grated, as always, is presented by the Birdie Bar, Louisville's premier indoor golf bar. Check them out online and on Instagram at thebirdie.bar. James, how we doing?
I'm great, man. We got 11-2 football team. What's not to be feeling great about right now?
Well, that's where I'd kind of lead my question with right away. It's because it's like, this is why we can't have nice things, right? You get to a point where we're critical for so much of the season. And the past couple of weeks, it looks like the Broncos are starting to figure it out. Offensively, I think, other than maybe the Dallas game, the Vegas game last week was the most complete game that they've played, and I'm talking about all three phases, but yet we come out of a week like that, and it's like people are still trying to punch holes in what the Broncos are and what's their identity, what's their perception around the league.
Yeah, I mean, they dominated the game. They had 2 9-minute drives and a 10-minute drive. They put 17 points on the board. They can totally control the game. You know, if you're back east and you were watching the Bears and the Packers and you didn't watch the game and you just looked at the score, like, oh, another one-score game for the Broncos. They didn't even cover and blah, blah, blah. It's like they kicked the tar out of the Raiders. Anybody who watched the game knows it. I'm getting a little fed up with people just trying to shoot holes in this team. But it's what I wrote about this week at denversports.com. Like, listen, if you want to be a naysayer, which I'm not one, if you want to be a naysayer, there are reasons to be a naysayer. You can come up with, living a lie. They've trailed in 9 straight games. They had trailed in 9 straight games, blah, blah, blah. If you want to be positive, super positive, orange-colored glasses, you can make a case. We're fixing to find out. They got 4 games against 4 probable playoff teams. The one non-playoff team, maybe the Chiefs. Well, they've been in 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. Christmas night on a short week. They got 4 tests in front of them. We're going to find out. So who's right? The naysayers, the Nick Wrights of the world, or people who've been on the bandwagon a long time like me? We're going to find out.
I love how you firmly push. You're driving it. You're pulling the honk of the horn. Yes.
I'm Kramer. I'm making all the stops.
There you go. One of the narrative surrounding the quarterback position is that Bo was efficient, boring, a game manager. And we can get into what that means. I was on Denver Sports Tonight last night, and I made the point that that's never been a compliment.
No.
Anybody ever saying that about a quarterback, it's like a backhanded compliment, right? It's never like, hey, that, and people will be like, well, anybody could fit into that mold. Yeah, anyone could. All the greats managed games at some point, but is Bo Nix a game manager in your eyes? Is he just along for the ride? Don't screw it up, and this defense will take you to glory. Or, in my opinion, I think he's a player. I think the team goes how Bo goes. So I think. And I don't think you have 38 pass attempts if you're a game manager. It just doesn't make sense to me. How would you describe Bo?
I think he's a bit of a gunslinger that doesn't make mistakes. So the fact that he doesn't make mistakes is why people call him a game manager, right? He doesn't take the bad sack. He doesn't, not that he doesn't throw any picks, but he doesn't throw these terrible picks that go the other direction for a touchdown and all of a sudden you're in a hole, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't do things typically that put his really good defense in a bad spot and give the other team a short field or give them free points. Like, he avoids mistakes for the most part. That's why people look at him as a game manager. But to me, like, Trevor Siemian was a game manager. As long as it was 3rd and 4 and the other team didn't know if you were going to run or pass and you were on schedule and you were ahead of the sticks, he was fine. As soon as it was 3rd and 11, punter, go ahead and warm up because we ain't converting this. And I watch Bo and his ability to fire a 14-yard pass on 3rd and 11, right into the teeth of the zone to Cortland Sutton. That ain't a game manager. It's just not. A game manager is a guy that has to be ahead of the sticks constantly in order to be effective. Bo makes plays when they're in a bad down and distance. He extends plays with his feet. He can move the chains that way. He is not a game manager. He's a gunslinger that has some caution to him. And I think that's the perfect combo, to be honest with you. I'm watching the game. It was the Washington game. And it was the first time I'm texting buddies going, Bo Nix is legit. Like, this guy makes throws that, like, not everybody can make. And so, I don't know where it comes from. Maybe it's because he does, check down a lot. He does throw a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage or,
Yeah,
three
but
or
he's
four.
also not afraid to throw
Exactly.
it deep.
It's not like
that
that's-
was a criticism early in the year. Oh, he's missing these guys
Right.
deep. Like he's not afraid to do it. I think what you're saying is like he's intelligent.
Yes.
He's smart about it. Any great quarterback you could label as a game manager. I hate the negative connotation that surrounds it. And with him, to your point, the last 2 weeks, he looks crisp.
He does.
Like, I mean, the ball's getting out on he throws a beautiful ball. Like lately, it's been like, where the hell was this? Because I think at the end of last year, we saw it trending to this area. And then we had the struggles at the beginning of the year. And it looks like he's finding his stride at the perfect time.
A game manager can't lead a fourth quarter comeback because the game has gotten out of where they want it to be, right? Like he's good on he can convert on 3rd and long. He's good late in games, even if they're behind. Like he's not a game manager. He's not. But you're right. He's intelligent. He doesn't make dumb decisions. Okay.
Who would you say is the best game manager of all time?
Maybe Brady. Like he didn't put his team in a bad position, right? And when he's got Randy Moss, he's throwing it all over. When he's got some lacrosse player from some back east school, he's throwing it a little more conservative. Like, just what are they giving you, right? You take what they give you, you play it smart. I mean, Brady had more skills than anybody thinks. Watch the end of the Giants game when they lost. They lost the undefeated season. And late in the game, after Burris scored to put the Giants ahead, the deep ball he nearly completes to Randy Moss. That ball goes 75 yards in the air. Like, he has a better arm than people thought, but he didn't make mistakes, right? He was a smart player. So I think people kind of looked at him that way versus a Brett Favre or a John Elway early in his career.
I think it's always like when you win young that you get labeled that. Because if I think of it, the most famous for me would be like Dilfer. Because he literally came in, he rode the coattails of one of the best defenses of all time. And Brady did that to a sense in the 2001 season when they won their first one. But you got to remember, he had to come back in that game to put Vinatieri in a spot to win it.
Right.
To your point, like a game manager doesn't typically do that. You have something special inside of you to make that fourth quarter comeback. So
Brad Johnson, that's my answer.
There's another good one. Yeah. Russell Wilson, young, could have been labeled that, but they morph into something different. I don't like it because there's always a negative connotation with it, no matter how everybody tries to play it out.
Because the connotation is you have limited skills.
Right.
So you're a whiteboard wizard. You have to ride the coattails of the talent around you, whether that's defense or, man, you just got the best receivers in the league and a great offensive line, and just go back there and don't screw it up, dude, and we'll be fine. Bo's not that kind of guy. And the number one reason I believe that is there's been plenty of instances of this all year long where it's late in the game. I've never once thought they're not going to get it done. I always think he's going to get it done. I never thought that with Trevor. I mean, we could go on and on and on of all the game managers they've had in here. Teddy Bridgewater was a game manager.
Yes.
Right? Oh, you can go beat the Giants, the Jags, and the Jets and start off 3-0, and those teams are going to combine to win 9 games in a season. But when you played against a good opponent or you were behind or whatever, we've talked a lot about the Kyle Orton play, right? Yeah. Where they're playing against the Raiders. He's got a wide open guy. It's going to be the go-ahead touchdown, and the ball falls out of the back of his hand because he's a game manager. So Bo's not that. Let's just get that out of our vernacular.
Perfect. We see eye to eye on that one for sure. All right, so then let me ask you this. The Packers have had a similar type season to the Broncos. Maybe they start off really strong. Everybody's darling after probably 2 weeks. Then they kind of leveled off, and then there was a couple weeks where they put up, I think, a combined like 13 or 17 points in 2 games, and they're like, what's wrong with the Packers? Now they beat the Bears. They take, they're sitting, 2 or 3 in that conference as of right now?
Yeah, they're half game up with the Bears. It's crazy. The Bears go from 1 to 7 with one loss.
That's nuts to me. Yeah, so if I look at it right now, the Packers, they'd be the 2 seed. Broncos sitting at the number 1 seed. I'm asking you this question because I want to know, how do the Packers roll into Mile High on Sunday, and how are they favored? To the Broncos, I think with winning streaks at home, they're up there in the league. I think it's
the longest streak in the league. So I think there's a couple of things that go into this. One, I do think there's a perception nationally that the Broncos are a bit of smoke and mirrors. Okay, and you can look at, because again, people.
That's the case. Why are they up on people's power rankings then? Because I would think that too. But then every time you see a power ranking, you see it.
I saw them 4 though. Like Colin Cowherd did his, and they were 4. I'm like, they're the 1 seed in the AFC, and they're 4th, and they were behind the Packers. The Packers were 3rd. I do think you look at Green Bay, they're a more well-rounded team. They can run the ball. Josh Jacobs, they got their receivers back, right? That's helped out Jordan Love. That defense is good. Micah Parsons gets a lot of attention. And it's the Packers. There's going to be 20,000 cheeseheads in the stadium. Guarantee you. Because there are certain Bronco fans that paid for the rest of their season by selling the tickets to Green Bay fans. So it's gonna be not quite like going to LA for a Charger game and it's filled with orange, but there's gonna be a lot of green and yellow in the stands. And it's the betting public. Like that's what people, sometimes forget is the line isn't necessarily what they think. It's how can we get people to bet on each side of it. That's why Dallas, Notre Dame, there are certain teams that the line isn't necessarily always accurate because people love to bet on them. Green Bay is one of those teams, but it's great. It gives Sean Payton something to, something to get up there and preach about this week. You're getting no respect. Good, go out and shut him up.
I love your point earlier too about it being. You're going to find out with this Denver Broncos team with starting on Sunday, followed up by the Jags. Then you have the Christmas night game against the Chiefs, and then finishing up with the Chargers. But we're at that point now. Could this be a Super Bowl preview? We do this each and every week on Freshly Grated. We give our Super Bowl predictions as of what week are we in now?
They're 11-2. They've had a bye. So, yeah, this is 15.
So, yeah, whatever
15.
It is.
Week 15.
As of this week, I've been steady with Rams Broncos for the past few weeks. Where do you sit? Who's in Santa Clara come February?
Well, I'm sticking with the Broncos. I don't know why I would veer off of that. I think they're coming off one of their most dominating performances. NFC's tricky. I'm going to go a little off script, go back to what I was earlier in the year. I think they're going to hit their stride. I'm going to go Detroit. I think it's Detroit, Denver, and Santa Clara.
Wow. I'm going to stick with Rams Broncos right now. I know the Rams had the hiccup a couple weeks back with the Panthers. They came out and they look like they didn't miss a step last week. So
none of us ever picked the Niners.
Yeah, because
they have the best player in the league.
Talk
on
about
their
a
team.
game manager.
Yeah, there's a game manager.
That's why I think you see something different when you watch Bo Nix play. We go out to our producer, Dan Chavez. Who is your Super Bowl prediction?
Give me the Seahawks and the Broncos in Santa Clara. I'm riding with them this time.
God, I'm having flashbacks to New
Rematch
York.
of 48.
Oh, one of the worst moments of my life.
I don't think I slept well for like a week after that
It's
game
the
happened.
only sporting event I've ever been to where I did not cheer one time. The opening play was bad. And I'm not talking the snap, the kickoff. Trendon Holiday runs it out to the 8, which is Will Peterson's fault. That's another story for another day. But it just was bad from the get-go.
Yeah.
Awful day.
No, it was horrible.
The only Super Bowl I've ever been to, and it's like, I got to get that taste out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's one that I don't know if that was as bad of a loss as you could have. It was just so reminiscent of the Redskins Super Bowl, the Niners Super Bowl, the 55-10, and there were plays there to be made. When you watched that game over, It's like they were just that far off. So, and it got away from them in a hurry. All right, we're going to change gears real quick. The college football playoff was announced on Sunday. Your thoughts? Listen, we argued for years. 4 isn't enough. 4 isn't enough. Now they're at 12, and there's still all the bickering and fighting. And now Notre Dame looking like they're taking their ball and going home because they don't get to be a participant in it.
Yeah.
Do you like where it's at? Where does it go from here?
I think it's great. I think 16 would be better, but it's a little bit like, in the NCAA tournament when somebody complains, like, you're 69th best team, 70th best team. Like, be better, right? And Notre Dame, I get it. They're ranked 9th and they don't make it into the top 12, but I want to see JMU and Tulane in there. I will say this. At some point, one of those teams has to win.
Yeah.
They got to win a game. If it turns into a bunch of blowouts, then it's going to just be, all right, it's the 12 teams. I like the fact that we can't sit down on August 31st and list the 12 teams that are going to be in it. You used to be able to do that with 4. It's going to be Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. Now we got a couple of surprises in there, but they got to be competitive. They got to make for good games. 16 would be better. I think Notre Dame's got a complaint, but getting a conference. I think Vanderbilt's got a complaint. And I think BYU's got the best complaint because their bad loss came because they had to play a conference title game against the number 4 team in the country. So
it's their only 2 losses.
It's, that they've definitely got a complaint. But again, they're ranked, 9th, 12th, and 13th or something like that. It's not as though a top 4 team in the country got left out. So I think it'll be fun. But JMU or Tulane, you guys got to show up and answer the bell. Otherwise, the door is going to close for the
They won't,
smaller
which is a
conferences.
problem. And because my school, if it ever gets there, and CSU I'm talking of, I have to be a proponent of it because if they ever have a great season, I want them to have that opportunity.
And they should be.
but I don't see I don't think either one of those teams is competitive when this thing gets kicked off in about a week.
And most of the time, the 16 seed isn't either. We remember the one time they beat Virginia. We don't remember the 93 times they lost by 27 points. So you just need one. You need one at some point. It has to come relatively early. So we have a bit of a Cinderella, but we don't want them to win necessarily or keep winning because then you take a second game with Tulane is going to be awful. Like, it's a weird dynamic, but I'm fine with it. I think they got it right. I'm good with it.
We're running out of time. We have no time for the Rockies. They've been pushed for the Nuggets. Okay. We found out yesterday that Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown, they're not going to be on the Christmas list. They ain't coming back before Christmas. In fact, they probably won't even see any time on the court until 2026. Have you conceded the West to the Oklahoma City Thunder yet? Or do you think the Nuggets can make a run at it? Will the other shoe drop at some point? Are the Thunder that good? Because for whatever reason, I don't believe it. I don't see it like I saw the 72-10 Bulls. I don't see it like I saw the 73-9 Warriors. It just feels different to me. It seems...
I mean, they are that good. They're going to be the 1 seed. I think the Nuggets' biggest worry is, on any given night, they fall from the 2nd seed to the 5th seed. Like, there's a bunch of teams kind of packed together there, and so you got to get the 2 seed. I think that's a more realistic goal. But listen, we all thought, you go back 5 weeks ago, the Colts were 8-1 and they were the 1 seed. Like, things can change. Heaven forbid something happens to SGA, but they don't look like they're that good a team because they kind of play a boring brand of basketball, right? It's not Michael Jordan. It's not Steph Curry throwing it up from the logo. It's SGA jumping into a guy and shooting 24 free throws. That's what it is. That's fun.
Yeah. Well, it's a problem because the Nuggets, what Adelman has done is it's been great. He's been all right. But the difference is the defense is still struggling, James, and you're missing those 2 pieces in a time where you should be probably gobbling up some wins so that when you get to March and April, you are within striking distance. I don't know if they'll ever catch up with the way Oklahoma City's rolling right now. And they don't face them head-to-head until February.
I'm just trying to find Michael Malone's 10-game road winning streak. Can't find it. Adelman's been okay.
That marks the time for Freshly Grated. For my co-host and guest today, James Marilat. For Dan Chavi Chavez, it's Marcello Romano. You've been watching Freshly Grated on Denver Sports.